That's why I say, at the executive level, this bill has been strategically mismanaged with respect to the management of the host communities, because it will raise security investments. The Nigerian security forces will be overworked. The Nigerian security forces will need money to work. And all of this is an additional cost you are not factoring in. Meanwhile, if you said 5% and the producing communities are on the same page with you, you have a secure, stable environment. And this bill has a clause that if there is any breakage, any damage to any facility that is not an act of God, that fund will be utilized in fixing it. So this bill, the idea of this fund is to also give the host communities responsibility. Responsibility for the stability and safety of facilities. So the host communities are the most important partners. And now, the danger is that because of this strategic mismanagement, the host communities are now being alienated. And you are dealing with banditry that you have not conquered. You are dealing with kidnapping you have not conquered. You are dealing with Boko Haram for almost 10 years that is terrorizing everybody. And the security forces are still battling it. You want to open another chapter in over 8 states or more, in communities where majority of our people reside, most of them remote, that have very little federal government presence, no security presence. I thought that the host communities and the people should have been placed as the #1 partners for stability and for development of the oil-producing areas, in order to guarantee sustainability in this critical industry, without which the national economy will collapse. So this is why I disagree with the strategic management. First of all, don't cast aspersions on the legislation. And I'm not here to say that the Senate or the National Assembly it should be cast in the way and manner you are saying. We can disagree with the legislation, which is what we are doing. Okay? But that characterization is, to me, too broad. It's too broad. For example, it's the Senate who raised it from 2.5 from the executive to 3%. All we are saying is that it's not enough. Not so? Yes. Yes. And because you talked about, let me put it this way. In nation building, particularly in a vast and diverse nation, relying on might, relying on majority, that does not build a nation. Okay? So you can quote me that I said majority votes, strength, numbers on their own does not build a country. What builds a nation in a diverse society like ours is the presence of justice, fairness, consideration one for the other. A nation that protects the weak against the strong. A nation that also exists for the few as well as the many. And that is the attitude that should inform all political leaders and actors. Not just somebody say, we have numbers. No, numbers don't build countries. Numbers don't. As a matter of fact, mere reliance on raw numbers without fairness, equity, and justice and consensus building is inimical to nation building. So, what will happen if the president assents to this bill, which we disagree with, and I say that, everybody knows my position. Number one, the 3% as it relates to the 3%, and some other issues, we think that there should be a review. There shouldn't even be a signature. Shouldn't even assent to it. Should send it for more consultative and inclusive work, so that while trying to solve problems, you don't create more problems. And as for guarantor, the president is the, apart from God, is the president who is the repository of all security powers. So my brother, my namesake Henry, is the president that will determine and perhaps help to guarantee stability and safety. But if you have not done so in the Northeast for 10 years, you are not doing so in the Northwest for 3-4 years. Huh? And in the Southeast, in the Southwest, I think it's against the national interest to open another frontier of conflict. Perhaps in the only region that is enjoying relative stability because of the policies that President Yar'Adua initiated. He not only proposed 10% on the PIB for communities, granted amnesty, which is still working, and we're all in support of it. Created the Ministry of Niger Delta. Okay? Huh. And that's how you build a country. Stepping in, standing for the weak and the few, and not relying on numbers and power. Okay. Can I take 2 more? So we can, yeah, 2 more. But I would like to hear from a lady. You know, some of us, like I, were mandated by the Southern Senators Forum and the South-South Forum to reach out to all key opinion leaders. And we did. We did. We spoke to most of them, and they all supported our 5%. You may not know the kind of consensus building some of us have been doing, because for me, that's our brand of politics, consensus building. Disagreements are normal and legitimate, but you reach across the aisle and seek the common, a common position. So, and we did a lot of that. All of them assured us they were going to support 5%. Mind you, the executive proposal was 2.5%. So this 3% didn't just come from Senate. The 2.5 didn't come. What the executive brought and came here to defend in their public hearings and even before we voted was 2.5. The Senate report also had 2.5. But because of this consultation, the Senate committees graciously went back, did their work, and brought 5%. That's what you people may not know. And I and Senator Sekibo and Senator Ajibola Bashir and Senator Otazi were in that committee. And I went to see most of them, including the Senate President. Now, what happened was that before we took that deliberation and the vote, the Minister of Petroleum and the GMT were invited to give us the executive perspective. I don't know why it was done. It was not parliamentary, but that was a decision that the leadership took. And they came supposedly to enlighten us on the technical aspects of the bill. And they now ended, the main message they came to deliver was that either 2.5 or no investment. So I can feel how most members who had given us their commitment felt when they had that tough position by the executive that were saying anything higher than 2.5%, there will be no investment inflow. And there was no room for any interrogation. They left. And then we started the consideration. I think that last-minute intervention was what accounted for the change of heart. Even on the part of those leaders, because I believe they are gentlemen, they had given me, each of them and all of them, had given us their word that they were going to do 5%. So that's what happened. So as to why Senator Sekebo withdrew his point of order, that's a different thing. Again, direct your question to him. What I know is that when that withdrawal took place, I left. I didn't want to sit in the chambers while that decision is taking place. When we went for the president's dinner, and I got the conference report that it was 3% that eventually I and others also left. We were not in the dinner. Not because we didn't want to go. We were there to honor the president. But it was a terrible evening. It was a terrible evening. And that was why at the consideration of the joint committee report, conference committee report, I again raised the point of order and made my position clear. Because for some of us, I'm a politician of conviction. Politician of conviction. Not a politician of convenience. Not a politician of convenience. Stand by what is right, principles and values that are dear to me. And we conveyed that and told the Senate President, he pleaded and said I should stay, but I didn't. And when I left, a lot of others also walked out. After that PIB, we went back. And gentlemen, that's a normal parliamentary practice. Normal parliamentary practice. Unfortunately, that's where we are. So we expect that there's still room for the right thing to be done. Okay? Can I have the last? And it should come from a lady. Unfortunately, you are not a lady. You are standing. It's all right, but one of these days we'll do proper examination. All right, since the ladies have outsourced it to you, you take the last. What we are doing is also a line of action. Okay? It's a story that has just started. A story that is still unfolding. And everyone has a role in it, including all of you. Okay? To continue to make the case for fairness, to continue to make the case for equity on the part of all. If the parliamentary work at this stage is concluded, then I believe we are talking to the people in the executive arm. And I believe that even the NNPC and the administrators of the petroleum sector are keenly following developments in the country and particularly in the Niger Delta. And I believe they are listening to all of this. I still think it's not too late to make a new day to do what has to be done. Okay? Thank you. Having said this, ladies and gentlemen, for the Muslims amongst you people, Barka de Salah, even though in arrears. And Assalamu alaikum. All right, thank you very much. God bless you all. Chairman, you can come. Who is from Wari here? Huh?
All of us are from Wari.
Very good for me. Because Wari not they take land. But what I want to say from Wari is that at all, I you win.
But countryman is going to perform. Countryman will perform. Countryman will perform. That language, countryman will perform this time around. Don't do it.